Good evening, Internet. Shroom here, and last time I played an Esper kind of aggro-ish deck featuring the Super Shredder, and it was fun, but it kind of just made me hanker for my main jam, which is Esper Control. So tonight I'm running back my Esper Control deck that I played a few weeks ago with some pieces from TMNT that I think make it actually a better deck. Let's take a look. Okay, so Esper Clarion Control is a mid-range deck, definitely on the control-y side, and kind of our main shtick is we're mainboarding two very disruptive creatures, Doorkeeper Thrull for one, 1/2 flash flyer. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. So this is extremely good at shutting down many of the overpowered value engines of Standard. Everything from like elemental decks to, you know, even like the affinity decks. This shuts down artifact into the battlefield triggers as well. Everything from those like silly life gain decks that want to draw cards off, Caretaker's Talent, or Enduring Innocence. This just stops all of that value and really makes the game much fairer than it otherwise would be. Extremely disruptive creature. And then we're coupling that with Clarion Conqueror in the main board as well. 3 mana for 3/3 flyer. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. So this hits everything from mana dorks to planeswalkers to, again, artifacts, clue tokens, map tokens. This makes it so that Kaido can't activate its loyalty abilities. It makes it so that Earthbended lands cannot tap for mana. So it's again an extremely disruptive piece that also hits a lot of the popular strategies in Standard. So we're sort of using these as two of our threats, and we're building a control deck around keeping these creatures alive and using them to win a game of Magic while shutting down our opponent's major game plan. So we got some other threats in the deck as well. We got a couple of Sunset Saboteurs, which are just really good aggressive 2-drops. 4/1 a Menace is really good body for 2 mana. It's just sad we can kind of play around because we have tons of removal. We're a control deck. And then our final threat is the 4 of Scavenger Region, which is just a sweeper on a stick. I'm a huge fan of this card. The 4/4 flying ward discard a card body is just good by itself. The ability of it to become a sweeper with its Omen side is invaluable in our deck, particularly considering that it does not hit our Clarion Conquerors, which are also dragons. So we got a new piece for this deck from TMNT that I got in one of the packs that I cracked, one of the, like, 3 packs that I cracked, which is Leader's Talent. This is sort of like a white version of Innkeeper's Talent. For its level 1 ability, it's Class Enchantment for 2 mana. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. That's really the mode that we're most interested in, as otherwise our clock can be a little slow at times, since, you know, one of our 3 creatures, 3.5 creatures in the deck is a 1/2. So Leader's Talent really helps a lot in accelerating our clock. We can also level this up to 2 for 3 mana, making it so that when our creatures with counters die, we gain 2 life. Not too useful. Level 3 at 4 mana, should we happen to go down that route, which is very unlikely. Makes it so that whenever we cast a spell, we put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. Again, not very likely, but that is an option. Just the level 1 of this is really an effect we were looking for in this deck. And the rest of our deck is just interaction and card advantage. We can make our opponents discard, which is something I always like to do in black decks. We've got Duress, we've got Intimidation Tactics in the main board. We've got a 1 of Soul Search, which is just another like exile Thoughtseize that every once in a while will give us a 1/1 token. We've got some counter spells that we can interact with our opponents on the stack. 1 Spell Pierce and 3 No More Lies in the main board. And then, of course, we got a bunch of removal. We got 2 Requiting Hex and 1 Seam Rip. So we have 3 1-mana interaction pieces main board against creatures and like cheap non-creature stuff. We're a very good Get Lost deck. We're running 3 copies total in our 75, 2 in the main because our Clarion Conquerors make it so that our opponents cannot crack their map tokens, which is really good. Got a 1 of Bitter Triumph. A 1 of Strategic Betrayal is a little bit of Graveyard Hate, staple to some removal in our main board. And then, of course, we have the Scavenger Regions, which are a sweeper on a stick, and we have a 1 of Ride's End for our exiling needs. I'm just kind of a fan of this card. It's really good. I've been running into a lot of like Enduring Innocence and Unstoppable Slashers lately, so this is really good against those cards. Then a little bit of card advantage. We've got a 3/3 split, 3 ops and 3 stock ups. I'm purposely eschewing Consult the Star Charts because it gets got by Spell Snare, which is really popular right now. I'm liking this 3/3 split of a cheaper card selection option coupled with stock up, which is just one of the best card advantage pieces in Standard. So that's the deck. Yeah, we got disruptive threats. We're going to disrupt our opponent with all our interaction, protect our creatures, disrupt their game plan with Thrulls and Conquerors, and beat down with our a ragtag board of dragons and Thrulls. A total of 23 lands in the mana base is sufficient for our mana value. We have one of Abandoned Air Temple and one of each Restless Land as tech, a Reef, a Fortress, and a Anchorage. Gone is the demolition field that we were playing previously. We don't really need it. We just need to make our colors, and this mana base is a little better suited to do that than it was last time. The sideboard contains a Requisition Raid as further hate against artifacts and enchantments. This is really good against the Lessons decks. We got Seam Rip number 2, so we can board up to 4 main board 1 mana removal pieces for matches where it's good. Spell Pierce number 2, along with 2 Disdainful Strokes and 1 Negate, our additional side counter in our sideboard. Disdainful Stroke in particular, I think is just a really good card right now. There's a lot of scary stuff that costs 4 or more mana, everything from Kaviro to like the bigger elementals. This just shuts all that down. We got Duress, so we can board up to 3 Duress-like effects after sideboarding. We got one of Crystal Barricade, which protects us against Duress and discard spells, protects our creatures against red removal, basically. I like this against Lessons. I also like it against Jeskai Control, where those decks have to kill the Crystal Barricade before they can kill any of our other creatures. One of Exercise hits artifacts, enchantments of big creatures. There's Get Lost number 3 in our sideboard. So we got 2 Rest in Peace coupled with a second Strategic Betrayal. We have 1 Strategic Betrayal in our main board, means we can go 4 cards against graveyard strategies, rather, which I think it's important to have at least 4 cards in your 75 that can hit graveyards. We got one of Death in the Family, which is another card from TMNT. Just 2 mana instant, exile target creature with mana value 3 or less. This is good. Like I said, I've been running to a lot of Unstoppable Slashers and Enduring Innocence. This very neatly deals with both those cards. And then we got one of Day of Black Sun that we can bring in as a 5th sweeper, primarily against weenie decks where there'll be a lot of 1 mana value creatures. So that is this version of Clarion Control. I think it's better. It's got better card draw. The mana base is a little better, and I think the sideboard is a little better tuned for what Standard is bringing currently. So let's see if we can get some wins in the Platinum tier of the ladder. If you like off-meta MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. My Cognimus will be our opponents, playing some TMNT Clarion Control. And this hand looks pretty good. We're gonna keep. my Cognimus. Alright, let's see what's going on here on Mountain. Zimone. A beam of combat on your step, put a +1 on each of the 2 target creatures you control. Double the number of the kind of counter. Okay. Spicy oatmeal pizza. Everything pizza. Chrome Dome. Other artifacts get +1/+0. Create a token in this cup. Huh. I don't know what to make of this. I guess these ones fix their mana, so I'll take one of those. I've got a Seam Rip and a Strategic Betrayal and a Get Lost, so I can deal with a lot of what they're doing. Alright, we'll just play tap land. Omni Cheese Pizza. Okay. I think we'll Seam Rip the Omni Cheese Pizza. Play a tap land. Alright, let's Simone. But we have the answer. Strategic Betrayal. Go swamp. Chrome Dome. You just find a Clarion Conqueror. This oatmeal pizza can kill it though. Sure, just draw for turn. Let's stock up. Scavenger Regents I like, plus what else? No More Lies or Saboteur? Probably Saboteur. They don't have the mana for the Omni Cheese Pizza yet. Okay, they're gonna get a copy, so they're gonna get to do that again. Okay, interesting. They get to search up another basic land. I'm just gonna kill this thing. Ride's End. Alright, play Sunset Saboteur. And a tap land. Go. So they're gonna encounter Ward, discard a card. Alright, Clarion Conqueror is the card that we need. After they get rid of this card, of course. Legion Extruder. Alright, they discarded their Burning Pizza. Clarion Conqueror, please? Tezzeret? Clarion Conqueror?
My empire will span the stars. Even the smallest trinket.
Clarion Conqueror, Phenomena Recorder. Copy target activated. We just need a Clarion Conqueror. That's all we need. Doorkeeper Thrull. Alright, let's kill Tezzeret. Make a map.
My ascension continues elsewhere.
I think we'll pass. I'm debating whether I want to shock to crack this map onto my Restless Anchorage. Yeah, I kind of do, actually. Let's play this on blue. Explore. Doorkeeper Thrull. Gonna bin that. Maybe that's a giveaway that we have one in hand. I really just need a Clarion Conqueror. Phenomena Recorder. Okay. You don't get any counters. You do get counters. It just enters with those. It's not when it enters. Well, discard Ride's End. Alright. Attack with... we can't even attack with Anchorage, I don't think. I didn't count my mana. Alright. Psych. Actually, what we're gonna do is do this. So that doesn't die to the everything pizza. They could they could copy it, I guess, but then they have to discard 2 cards for the ward. More Omni Cheese Pizza. There we go. Fastest I've ever slammed a Clarion Conquer in my life. I discard a card. I get my Conqueror. Attack for 7. Get a map I can't crack. But now their artifacts don't do anything. Heat Harvest. Everything Pizza. Still does give them basic land. No More Lies. Not going to be very useful at this juncture. Alright, hold on one more turn. Even if they kill the Conqueror, we have lethal on board, but they can gain life. Unlucky Cabbage mechanic. When interest create a food, whenever you sack a food, they'll never be able to sack food. Extruder, 2 damage to any target. That being my face. GG. Okay, Clarion Conqueror. That's what we need. Exercise. Requisition Raid. Duress. Negate. Spell Pierce. Crystal Barricade. Seam Rip. So, like, creature removal spells aren't very good. Requiting Hex. Bitter Triumph. Strategic Betrayal. Get Lost. We're cutting all of our removal. We still have Exercise in Scavenger Region, Ride's End. Yeah, I didn't see any creatures on that side. Well, there's not many. Hopefully the Scavenger Region and the Exercise will be enough to handle those. What creatures they do have will be artifacts. Let's try this. Alright, we have to mulligan this. Alright, we got double Clarion Conqueror. Hands down our best card. Easy keep. Bottoming. Probably Multiversal Passage. Ravenous Robots. Alright, let's... Thought Seize You. Cabbage, Omni Cheese, Spicy Oatmeal. Okay, this is the only thing that can actually kill our Clarion Conqueror. So, let's do that. Alright, they get a thing off their Mouser. Alright, CC. It's up to you, dog. Omni Cheese Pizza. They still get to make their tokens. Cabbage Man. Doesn't do much. So I could just sweep away their board. I think, though, I would rather play Leader's Talent. Let's attack. Put a counter on my Conqueror. Play this untapped on white. Weathermaker. Alright, play our Doorkeeper Thrull. Take 2. Duress. Let's duress our opponents. Okay, Technodrome plus 2 Zimones. Let's attack with our dudes. Put a counter on our Doorkeeper Thrull. Play another Conqueror. Harvest. Shutting down their ETBs. Alright. Block one of those guys. Opponent scoops. Yep, Clarion Conqueror. Really good against those kinds of decks. That's why this deck is good. Doorkeeper Thrull too. Anslinger, the Festive Fighter, will be our next opponent. I like their low res, whatever that guy is. We're on the draw. We have to mull, unfortunately. Yeah, this is a good hand. We'll keep this. Bottom. Probably Multiversal Passage. Llanowar. Well, I didn't need shock technically, but we're gonna kill the elf. Could have played Concealed Courtyard there, but we'll have Spell Pierce up for turn 2 at this way. Alright, play tap land. Super Shredder. Let's stock up. Seam Rip seems pretty good, as does No More Lies. I considered using Super Shredder in this deck instead of... Oh, what is this? Oh man, I can't even read this card. Michelangelo, what? Weirdness to 11. With an interest creating mutagen token. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature, then that many +1 are put on. Okay, so it doubles twice. I see. That's an interesting synergy, I guess. Let's Seam Rip the Shredder. Yeah, I think we'll shock and play our Conqueror here. Should be hard for them to sack tokens now. They could have a removal spell. Next turn I can play another one and have Spell Pierce to protect it. We'll take one. Alright, let's attack. Play another Clarion Conqueror. Play tap land. So if they have like a deadly cover-up, we can still counter it. Yeah, we'll block. Tragic trajectory. Yeah. Intimidation tactics? Oh yeah, mutagen, man. Cool. Let's attack. Might as well stock up. They have nothing. Doorkeeper, Thrull plus get lost. Alright, GG's. Super Shredder with some tech to make it all aggro. So we want Seam Rip, I guess. Maybe Death in the Family, more cheap removal. Maybe Day of Black Sun. That's probably about it. I don't think I need Strategic Betrayal. Probably don't want Bitter Triumph. They're a little aggro. I don't know. It might be hard to kill a huge Super Shredder with a Scavenger Regent. Let's try this. Alright, yeah. Intimidation Tactics, Requiting Hex. These are all good cards. Alright, we can turn one. Intimidation Tactics. Mutagen Men, Sentinel, Obsessive Pursuit. I guess we can just Thought Seize the next one next turn, so it doesn't really matter. Create X mutagen tokens. I think Sentinel is just like a better card overall. Obsessive Pursuit. Alright, let's play a Sunset Saboteur. Get a clock. Man, gonna create one mutagen token. Is this mana value 2? I think it is. Kill the mutagen man. Attack for 4. We got a Clarion Conqueror in hand. Okay, GG's. Metaphorical. The Brilliant is our next opponent. Let's see if Clarion Conquerors with some little TMNT tech can continue our streak. Opponent, we're on the draw. This looks fine. We'll keep. Do I want a shock to be able to opt turn 1? Probably not against red mana. Esper oranges. Alright. I think we'll play a Concealed Courtyard. Hold up, opt, and get lost. Earthbender Ascension. Let's opt. We're good on land deck, really. Doorkeeper Thrull. Stock up. I kind of really just want to get lost the Earthbender Ascension. Yeah, this card is it's really scary. I guess we don't need to do it right now. Cavern of Souls on Kavu. Tannuk. Other creatures you control have haste. Artifacts and creatures in hand have warp. Okay. That seems dangerous. Yeah, I think we just gotta kill that guy. We don't want all their creatures having haste. Redirect lightning. Redirects might get lost to their land. Okay. Let's duress. Get rid of Esper oranges. Yeah, and I think we're again going to get lost when they crack a map token for this guy. There's Esper oranges. Okay, let's kill this guy. Strategic Betrayal would be my best draw. Oh god. The turtles, Raph and Mikey, troublemakers. When they attack, reveal a card from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card in the battlefield tapped and attacking. Alright, let's stock up. It's not very good hits here. How big is this guy? He's a 3/5. Yeah, this is kind of a whiff. This is a 6/6. Well, can we counter that guy maybe? We'll find out. Their hand... Oh, they have those guys, so I probably should take Intimidation Tactics. Which means No More Lies is not going to be useful. So I'll take Intimidation plus Restless Fortress. I don't have mana to hold up No More Lies because I gotta do this, I think. Get rid of those guys. Our hand has not panned out well. Getting a strategic betrayal off that stock up would have been sick. Alright. So opponent's a big mana deck. Bitter Triumph. It's not going to be enough. This is going to go away. So we can kill that. I guess we're not technically dead yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Playing untapped land. Go. Oranges go away. Whenever it attacks, deals 4 damage to any target and 3 to up to 2 targets. Okay. So I have to Bitter Triumph that. I think that means that I die. These creatures are both hasty also. Okay, sure. Alright. Well, very anemic draw for us. But I think we got this covered. Let's get our Strategic Betrayal and our Rest in Peace. Not Crystal Barricade. I don't think we need that. Let's get our Disdainful Strokes 100%. Exercise. Get Lost. Requisition Raid also. Probably good. Spell Pierce, not that important, I don't think. Nor Duress. I don't know how good Doorkeeper Thrull is. I don't think it's as good as Clarion Conqueror. Probably don't need to go all the way on the Graveyard Gate. Probably 2 Strategic Betrayal and 1 Rest in Peace is sufficient. Yeah, this early game stuff, I'm just not sure if it's that good. They probably have elves. I think we're just going to cut that. Go with bigger removal and Scavenger Regents. Let's try this. We get a Saboteur early here. Is this good enough? We'll try it. We need to draw some lands. White mana. There's plenty of it in our deck. Conqueror would be good if we could cast it. Shared Roots, so just ramping. Okay, untapped white mana would be beautiful. That's untapped white mana. I'm gonna play my Clarion Conqueror here, I believe. Tannuk. Okay. Stock up. Get Lost. Plus another land. Air Temple or an untapped land? I think Godless Shrine. Watery Grave. We'll attack for 7. Playing Anchorage. We actually have a lethal attack next turn. Drakuseth. Wow. How did they manage to cast that already? Artifacts and red creatures in your hand have warp 3. Alright, well, we didn't hold up a counterspell for Tannuk, and we got punished big time. I still think we can win this pretty handily, maybe. We kill this now. Origin, we counter that. Nothing goes away. Okay. Earthbender. Vibrance on top of their library. We can stop Vibrance's trigger. Yeah, we're gonna die because of the Earthbender Ascension. We can stop Vibrance's trigger and then chump block with Doorkeeper Thrull. I think that's where we're at this point. We can't shock, so we play this on white. Pass. Of course, if they attack and then play Vibrance after combat, we're screwed. Bossing say they're just gonna Earthbend. Okay. Is there any way we can do this? No, there isn't. Because we have to cast this. We have to block both of those creatures. No, I can't do it. I'm 1 mana short. Alright, well, this guy, Tannuk. We had a turn where we could have just held up a counterspell for Tannuk. Instead, we tapped out. That was the difference between victory and defeat. GG's. Interesting deck from opponent. Goon will be our next opponent. Playing some TMNT Clarion Control. We're on the play. And we have to mulligan that, unfortunately. This hand also a little unexciting with only 2 non-land spells, but we'll keep it. And bottom swamp, I think. Play a tap land. Green beavers. Alright, let's soul search. Super Shredder, Dream Beavers, Intimidation. I think we'll take Intimidation, because I think our Scavenger region is going to be important. We do get a 1-1 out of it. That's cool. Shredder. No block. 1. Attack 1. Will X equals 1. The beaver. Alright, let's duress. Take Requiting Hex. Let's stock up. No more lives plus stock up, I guess. Draw some of our removal spells. Alright, stock up. There we go. Scavenger Regent plus Saboteur should be good. We're gonna shock this on white. Pass. Yep, they activate their land as a 3/3. They shock. I don't like the fact that they shocked there. Enduring Curiosity? Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, they Spell Snare. Alright, so they can draw. Cheese. The cheese. Alright, so I guess we'll just X equals 3. Oh, this is a dragon, so it doesn't get hit by that. Alright, so this is just Dimir with a little bit more of an aggro slant, I guess. I think this Enduring Curiosity is going to beat us, though, as it tends to. Draw a card. Opt. Play Saboteur. Pass. Well, we're gonna go for it. They must have an answer. Yep. Draw a card. We don't need ops. Spell Pierce. Scavenger Regent. That's pretty good. It again does not hit the Sanctuary because the Sanctuary is a dragon. Sure, we'll attack, I guess? Nah, I don't see a need to attack. Let's play a Scavenger Regent as a 4/4. Binder. Block and block. It's Kaido.
Tech is way. I've seen scarier things in a bowl of noodles.
I draw a card.
thrive in the dark.
Alright, well, something to help us kill this Kaido would have been helpful. We got nothing, though. We have to stay back to block it. I mean, they can just tap it down with Kaido, though. We need Clarion Conqueror would be good. Flood Pit's Drowner. Alright. I mean, this kills us. The Kaido could use its loyalty ability to kill us. We're dead in several ways. Alright, just Dimir. So let's Seam Rip, Crystal Barricade, Spell Pierce, Negate, Duress. I think that's about all we need. Oh, we need Exercise too, I think. Conquerors and Scavenger Regents are both very good. I'm going to cut one Scavenger Regent, though. We need to cut something. Cut Leader's Talent. Gotta cut something, though, so I'll cut one Doorkeeper Thrull. Actually, I don't think I really like the Saboteurs. I like the Thrulls more than the Saboteurs. Because they are like a go-wide type deck. Cut one Opt and one Stock up. Let's try this. Here. This is a one-lander. It is a one-lander with a turn 1 Duress and an Opt that maybe can help us find a land. And a Clarion Conqueror and a Soul Search. We're gonna keep this. You know, we're always the underdog as the Jank Brew. So, risky plays. Not what I meant to do. Gotta make some risky plays. Bitter Triumph, Drowner, Beavers. Okay, they don't have much. Seam Rip, let's opt. Land, please. Bottom. Land. There we go. Yeah, we'll just play it a tap land, I guess. Deep Cavern Bat. We have a handful of removal. Take Seam Rip. We don't draw land, unfortunately. Alright, let's Soul Search. Take the Drowner. Super Shredder. Duress, not what we're looking for. Strategic Betrayal, I guess. Just to let's sack their Beaver. Throw the Shredder. Crystal Barricade. Prevents more bats from hitting us. That's about all it does. It can't block the Shredder, which has Menace. How about a land deck? Requiting Hex. That's a good one. Alright. Well, we're gonna go for it. If they have a counter, we'll be in trouble. Seam Rip the Shredder. Okay, we can no longer be batted. Kaido, can we draw an untapped land for Clarion Conqueror, please? How about a tap land? Yeah, I'm gonna block. I don't want them to be able to draw a card.
Information is its own weapon.
I'm just gonna surveil too. We can take one of our Clarion Conquerors. Spell Pierce. It'd be good if we could draw another land and survive. We can fade this turn. It's not even that good because they have tons of mana. We're just gonna take it. We do need a removal spell. Because they also have this Restless Reef too. Oh man. Well, we were a little late in drawing additional lands, which is, you know, our choice that we did that. I think we're just dead. If they fire up the reef, we just die. Stock up and pass. Alright, we lost to Dimir. Well, you shouldn't keep one-landers. That's the moral of the story. Sicarius 75, the Virtuous, will be our final opponent. With TMNT version of Clarion Control, let's get a winning record. We're on the play. Yeah, we'll keep this. Looks good. Got our colors and good spells. I think we'll just play our fast land. Temple of Deceit. Scribe to the top. Let's shock. I want to opt. Alright, let's opt. Scavenger Regent. Yeah. I think a Duress would be kind of more my speed. Alright. Let's go with Sunset Saboteur. Play this on blue, I guess. I could have shocked. They're like, they seem very control-y. Could have shocked to allow op this turn. Momentum Breaker. Pixie. Okay, so it's like that, huh? Just kill the Pixie. Pass. Optimistic Scavenger. Okay. Momentum Breaker. I think we'll just counter that. So they can't bounce it anymore. Alright. Let's go for a Clarion Conqueror. Probably have another Momentum Breaker or something, I would guess. Witness protection. No block. Okay. Let's go for leader's talent. Attack. Start growing our conqueror. Gonna know where to run. Alright, let's kill that scavenger. Down goes our conqueror. Another scavenger. Fear of isolation. Alright, let's opt something good, please. Like a scavenger regent would be good. Sunset Saboteur. No, definitely not gonna do it. Land, also not what we're looking for. Well, Dress can let us do this, at least. Could probably just kill one of these creatures. Yeah, let's just kill the scavenger, discard this land. 2. Doorkeeper Thrull. Alright, we'll pass. Alright, flash in our Thrull. Spell Pierce. Alright. Level 2 this. They have a nowhere to run. Land, not what we're looking for. Scavenger Regent? If they have a momentum breaker in hand, that really sucks. I could just sweep their board. Do I just sweep their board? Or do I play the Regent? I think the safe bet is to sweep their board. Okay, now we want to draw threats. Scavenger Regent, sure. Momentum Breaker. April O'Neil. Kandawichi Trainee, Scry 2. Okay. Alright, Doorkeeper Thrull. Well, that gives us a little insulation against the momentum breaker at least. Take 2. Flash in our Thrull. Put counter on our regents. Draw land. Attack and counter up our Thrull. Sunfurl Kirin does nothing when it enters. It is a 2/1. Blocks our dragon. Okay. Sheltered by ghosts. Yeah, that's pretty good. Doesn't have to pay the ward because of nowhere to run. I do gain life. Alright, let's get a strategic betrayal. How about that? Get lost. Let's get lost April O'Neil. Pay the ward. Get back our dragon. Attack with our Thrull. Get a counter. Cosmogrand Zenith. Gonna explore. More sheltered by ghosts on top of their library. Okay. Can I find a removal spell, please? Abandoned Air Temple. Is that lethal? No, they go to 11. So how do I do this? Whenever you cast a +1/+1, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, you gain 2 life. So I think what I do is I play this temple. I attack with my Thrull, which gets a counter. Let's give it another counter. Alright, Spell Pierce. This is just to give us counters on our stuff. Okay, they get to shelter our scavenger regents, but we do gain 2 life, so we go to 1. Opponent's at 12. Can we draw something, deck, please? Strategic Betrayal. No. Restless Fortress. Well, that means that we can block this thing, I guess. No attack. Momentum breaker. Okay. Sack our fortress. Stock up. Please stock up. Find us something. That's really not what we're looking for. Doorkeeper Thrull. Can we win? Soul Search. Yeah, we do win. We actually do win here. So let's Soul Search. Put a counter on our stuff. Let's just land. Okay. Doorkeeper Thrull. Put a counter on our stuff. Attack. Put a counter on our Doorkeeper Thrull. That's 11 damage. Oh, but they can sack their Momentum Breaker. Gain some life. Okay. Well, forgot about that. So if they can remove our Doorkeeper Thrull now, we're dead. Fear of Isolation, bouncing back the thing as a cost. Alright, they just got us. Alright, Duress, Negate, Spell Pierce, Requisition Raid, Get Lost, Death in the Family, Exercise. These are all things we might want. So close, that game. Requiting Hex isn't that good. I like Seam Rip, though, actually. So let's get rid of the Requiting Hexes, add in both Seam Rips. Clarion Conqueror doesn't do much. I kind of like Strategic Betrayal. So I guess we gotta cut something. Let's cut... Yeah, actually Spell Pierce I don't like that much because their enchantments aren't really expensive. I think No More Lies kind of has the same difficulty. Yeah, we'll cut a bit of our counter spells. Cut Leader's Talent was good there. It's not really that good generally. Let's try this. Alright, we very nearly threaded that needle last time, but couldn't quite get it done. Sure, this hand looks fine. Tap land. I think we want to Soul Search before we play Sunset Saboteur. Scavenger? Sure. Alright, let's Soul Search. Nowhere to run, stock up, Saboteur. I think we'll take stock up. Momentum Breaker. Just gonna make us discard a card. Okay. Sure, we'll discard probably the Saboteur. Because it just dies to there, nowhere to run. Negate. I'll pass. Duress. Yeah, that's good time to draw Duress. Sure. Duress it is. Takes negate. Could have shocked in that blue land. Gonna play the other scavenger? Sure. Kill one. Kill the other one. Play a land. Draw lands. Doorkeeper Thrull. Okay. Just gets nowhere to run. Storm Chaser's talents. Fear of isolation on top. Play Doorkeeper Thrull, I guess. I mean, this just draws a removal spell. Requisition Raid. That's pretty good. Both of these enchantments are pretty darn annoying. I can only destroy one with Requisition Raid. So what do I Requisition Raid? Probably Momentum Breaker. They have nothing in their graveyard. So, because Momentum Breaker gives them another removal spell. Yeah, I have to do this because it's part of the cost of the Fear of Isolation to pick up the enchantment. So we'll just do this all three modes. Get rid of the map, get rid of Momentum Breaker. I suppose there was no reason to put a counter on my thing. All I did was cut myself off from Get Lost mana. So, yeah. So they don't have 3 removal spells, they only have 2 available to them, which is good. Alright, well, we could use a dragon. That'd be nice. Opt a dragon. We definitely want that. And I think we want it as a sweeper. Seam Rip. Alright, we're going X equals 3. They still have nothing to get back with Storm Chaser's talent, and I have a Seam Rip as well. Zenith. Pixie. The value. The value. Okay, I think we seam rip Storm Chaser's talent. I don't know. We just got double get lost, so we need another Regent, really. Okay, kill the Zenith. Nowhere to run on top. We just draw land. Alright, we lose to the Pixie deck. Ooh. Hate that deck. Okay, our final record with TMNT Clarion Control was a 2-3, which is disappointing. I feel like the deck is a little bit better than it performed. Those matches that we lost, some of them were very, very tight. Like we got crushed by that Gruul Go Big deck. Partly because, you know, we made a critical decision that the game would have turned out very differently had we held up mana for counter when we chose to tap out. So I feel like we did lose. We did have a losing record, but the games weren't like blowouts for the most part. We were like close to winning some of those games. Yeah, I don't know. I still think the deck's really good. What would I change about it? I don't know. I think the deck is pretty good as it is. I'm a little iffy on the Sunset Saboteurs now because I think that people are going like cheaper in general. And this isn't a good card against opponents that play a lot of cheap creatures. So I'm kind of in the market for some kind of substitute for Sunset Saboteur. I don't think Voice of Victory is what I want. And like Super Shredder, you would think might be a good replacement, but we're very good at like stopping permanents from being sacrificed with our Clarion Conquerors. So Super Shredder actually isn't a good fit for this deck. So I guess as good as Sunset Saboteur is when your opponent has nothing, it's not great when they go wide, and it does die to anything that can like inflict 1 damage to all creatures. So it definitely has its downsides. I wish I could have had a better 2-drop that's more of like an all-around good threat. Also, I think this deck could use some Spell Snare. I think it's just like the reason why the blue decks are all playing Spell Snare. Like I'm a Spell Pierce guy myself, you know, like I love me a good Spell Pierce, but I think Spell Snare is just a better counterspell in this metagame than Spell Pierce is. Against that Pixie deck, for instance, Spell Snare is so much better than Spell Pierce. We had a Spell Pierce stranded in our hand for quite a few turns, whereas a Spell Snare just straight up counters a Nowhere to Run or a Momentum Breaker or like a Kirin, you know. I just think Spell Snare is a better positioned card, so one or both of these should be Spell Snares. That would help. I think that's maybe all I would change is swap out one or both of these Spell Pierces for Spell Snares. Maybe there is an argument for adding another sweeper, like a, you know, that's not damage based, like possibly a Split Up could be a good sweeper for this deck. I could see that. I could see adding one of those in the 75 so that we don't have to sacrifice our scavenger regions always to clear the board. That we can, you know, have a sweeper that we can play, and then on the following turn play a scavenger region as a creature. So yeah, those are the changes I would make. I would swap out one or more Spell Pierce for Spell Snare, and I would find a way to get probably a Split Up or another sweeper in the 75, cutting something. No More Lies. Yeah, maybe this could be a different card too. I don't know if we need 3 No More Lies. Maybe, you know, one could be a Spell Snare, a Spell Pierce, a Spell Snare, and 2 No More Lies as counterspells in the main board. I think that's what I had in the first version. That's probably better actually than going 3 No More Lies and 1 Spell Pierce. Having all of your counterspells be, you know, pay to get around it isn't necessarily the best. Yeah, our offense still is just a little bit lacking. So I don't know. I do really like this deck, and I love Esper Control. I have another Esper control deck I haven't dug up in a while, my total interaction control deck. Might be a little bit better positioned than this, so I might be playing that in the near future. Also, Deceitful Control is a deck I really like that I want to revisit. So yeah, disappointing show for Clarion Control. Actually, I think I will say Leader's Talent I thought was really good and absolutely belongs in this list. I'm pleased with this card, definitely. So I will keep it in this list. I think this card is actually quite strong. So yeah, probably going to shelve this for a little while. Definitely will play some other versions of Control, possibly even Esper Control. But, you know, Magic be that way sometimes. You just got to take your lumps. Anyway, that's it for Clarion Control TMNT style for tonight. Hope you enjoyed watching me play. If you did and you like off-meta MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I stream MTG on my Twitch channel every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. There's a link to the Twitch channel in the description if you want to come check out the action in real time. So I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on Sunday. Peace.